monitor the chat on your phone?
I suppose you can use my phone if it's working. Anyway, we are streaming now.
Oh, we're live. Hello, no one. Takes a while for people to sign on.
Yeah, and Naomi seems to be away from her computer, so...
Oh no.
Reconnecting to chat.
I think that now that middle-aged people have taken over making memes about current events, I think we can all agree that memes are dead and we should all just stop. It has nothing to do with the fact that...
stop!
No, but it has nothing to do with the fact that as someone in that weird, awkward in-between age, I'm young enough to know what it is, but too old to understand the jokes. This is the chat? It's so packed. Oh, people are following you! That's creepy.
Okay.
You should get a restraining order or something.
So, today, Debity and I are going to be playing Nancy Du, Secrets
yeah.
Can Kill.
Oh, I need to get my notebook. If you play
We're
Nancy
planning
Drew
on this
without
being a series where we go through all the Nancy Drew games.
Yeah. There are about 33.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't count the dossier games.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
Yeah. I don't either, but I do want to give them a try.
The first
all the same.
one, I've gotten a little ways into the first one, and just strictly as a picture search memory game, it's kind of fun. But they did not need 3D animated people in it. It's a bit much.
Okay, anyway, we got it installed earlier.
So we're playing the first game, in fact the first version of the first game. If you look up Secrets Can Kill on the Her Interactive website, which is the company that makes these games, you might notice that this game isn't there. It's because it's quite old and they don't support it anymore, so it doesn't run well on new computers. They did a remastered version where the characters look more like how characters in all the other Nancy Drew games look. In this, you're gonna see pretty quick. Uh-oh. Your thing is trying to kill itself.
Yeah. No, this entire setup is very jank. I'm just trying to figure out how to best set this up, so...
So... Where was I? Oh yeah, the characters in this are 2D rendered, or whatever. Whereas in the rest... Yeah, it kind of, it looks like the games that you'd play in school if you grew up when I did. So I guess if you were a millennial, whatever. The rest of the games in the series, though, are 3D, sort of. The characters, at least, are three-dimensional. It's fine. Neither one's really better. It just sort of is what it is. None of these games are amazing. They're fun, but if you go into it expecting the polish that you get from games like... I'm trying to think of any equivalent.
It also doesn't have the iconic theme yet.
No, but I don't know if that happens for a while, to be honest.
I think the theme... I think we have the...
Senior Detective, and oh, this one even has Master Detective. Oh my gosh, no.
Yes. No.
No. It's always, if you just want to have fun, play Junior Detective.
It only makes, like, I think in every game it's only like 2 puzzles that are made more difficult.
Well, okay, there's more of a difference in later games, because in later games, if you choose senior detective or whatever the equivalent is, you don't get a checklist. And I'm sorry, these games are really insufferable without a checklist
Dear
when
Dad,
you're an adult.
who would have dreamed taking a semester off to
And you're
visit Aunt
taking, like,
Eloise in Florida would
weeks.
result in another
Weeks.
case? Seems a
You know,
student
I
was
don't
murdered at
remember
the
what's
high school
going
last night. And Daryl Gray, the student
Oh
council
my gosh,
president,
they
found the body.
animated
When
it.
Aunt
That's
Eloise
so
heard,
cute.
she rushed me right over and introduced me to the principal.
I mean, murder.
He asked if I would
Bad.
try to find out who did it and why. So it's undercover I go. My only contact is Daryl, so I'm off to
Wait,
solve
that's
a
the
murder. I'm
contact
calling
in
this case Secrets Can Kill. Love, Nancy.
Okay, I've replayed most of these games kind of recently to see if any of them are... just to test the age appropriateness for my niece. And so I played the remastered version of this because, like, it's easier to get on modern computers. So if I ever react weird to things going on in this game, that's
You
because
look like you're
some
going to make
things
an
are
excellent
different.
addition to Paseo Del Mar High School student body. You look like you're going to make an excellent
Like,
addition to Paseo
for
Del Mar
instance,
High
every
School
time you
student
go to
body.
a
You look
different-
like you're going to make an excellent addition to Paseo Del Mar High School student body. You look like you're going to make an excellent addition to Paseo Del Mar High School student body. You look like you're going to make an excellent addition
Please
to
make
Paseo
it
Del Mar High
stop.
School student body. You look like you're going to make an excellent addition to
Please
Paseo
make
Del
it stop.
That's the best. That is the best.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, she said his name was Daryl, right?
Sure. I'm still trying to figure out how to make it so that you're loud enough.
You can't. I will talk quieter. Okay, so
Oh my gosh, you
blue-
can scroll up and down
Yeah.
on the screen.
when it's blue, that means you're going to be scrolling. If it's red, that means you can use the mighty zoom in power. Or pick up an item. So as he kind of pixel searches through. Good.
You look like you're going to make an excellent addition to Paseo Del Mar High School student body. You look like you're going to make an
Sorry,
Oh, and
I'm
save
just.
frequently because these old games love to crash and then just it's fun.
Well, we're playing it
So
on
we
an
have a
actual
phone
era
card now.
appropriate.
Which is going to be really weird to any young kids watching. But that's okay. Aunt Eloise left a note. I had to close the school library early today, but if you need to do any research for your case, the key to the library is in the safe. Remember that you can find the combination in the house if you need it. I love that it's like, if you need it. If you need the combination, I've hidden it. But honestly, just cram some dynamite in that thing, blow it up, it's fine. Combination isn't necessary. Yeah, this is that stressful kind of game where you pixel search forever because you're like, I don't know what's important. Oh, look. So
Oh,
don't
gosh.
press the buttons.
Why? Can you die?
I mean, this game does have a second chance feature, so you really don't have to. You need to title it on
How? Oh.
that.
PD. E. Pi K. Lambda.
Okay, so remember how I said that I played the remastered version?
E.
Evidently, this is one of the changes.
So you can't die from this?
Apparently not. And by the way, dying in Nancy Drew doesn't often involve death. It just sort of means you made a mistake and now you can't keep going. Because Nancy has to be perfect.
Yeah. No, I'm aware that like the police would come or something. I just said death as
I-
shorthand
Are you yelling because you're on camera or because of the headphones?
because of the headphones.
Okay.
And because of camera, kind of. Camera.
Oh, no, check you pixel search in the most, like...
There's nothing in it.
Well, you wouldn't know by the way you go through it, but yeah, it would seem that we're just allowed to look inside. But like the way you pixel search in these games, it's so anxiety-inducing, and now you're taking apart the mouse. 'Cause of course you are.
Because it's sticking a bit.
Yeah, it's because it's like 5 decades old.
This is a 1990s IntelliMouse.
I know how old I am.
Actually, is there a date on
That
this?
mouse is as old as I am.
PS2 compatible. Like, it's a PS2 ball mouse, so...
You can plug mice into video games.
No, PS/2.
Okay.
It refers to the
Now,
IBM PS2
This is
PC.
an interesting thing about this game, is that they ruin it. Don't look at it. Don't even look at it. Because it ruins the flipping ending.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they were like, you know what would be funny? If in the very first ROM that you go into, it just tells you what the ending, like, all of the cool
Oh,
stuff. Do you see
really?
that there's a key?
Yeah, but she isn't saying it's locked.
This is the first game. It takes a while for them to first write. So yeah, those books, avoid them at all costs.
Ooh, key. Ooh, passport. Ooh,
Money.
money!
What is Aunt Eloise up to? She's like, I know I have a safe, but in order to keep secrets from my safe, I keep my passport and money in my
To
bookshelf.
keep secrets from my safe. Oh, golly gosh.
If the police raids my house, they're gonna check, you know, the safe first. They'll never check the encyclopedias.
Oh my gosh. That's right, she has a passport and money hidden in a book.
Yes.
That does look somewhat incriminating.
Yes. So this is another cute
Florida.
thing that this game does. I'm sure that you've noticed the importance of that.
Florida.
You don't see anything else odd about what you looked at.
Oh, Braille? Or... No, Morse code.
Yeah, the other one. They put a lot of time and effort into...
Easter eggs?
no. Forcing you to do things you don't want to do
Oh.
in order to get more information about the game. I think that one we can ignore, but I'll be honest, even if you can't ignore it, I'll just look it up.
And so basically they want you to decode Braille,
They want you
but
to
have... Morse code,
yes.
but they also have a spoiler for the ending with a similar cipher type deal.
Yes. Well, not similar. Let me explain this to you. It's not similar because in order to solve the hidden message in the book that spoils the ending, which also, it doesn't ruin the ending, but it is stupid and I hate it. It's so easy to solve that, whereas all the other puzzles in this, super hard. So
Yeah.
good job, Her Interactive. Rough start to what will turn
Cordially
into a
invites
good...
you to attend the 25th annual Sigma Phi Kappa Delta Sorority. Oh! Sigma Phi Kappa Delta. Did you write that?
No. Do you think that that's what's important in this?
Yes.
Okay.
Because those are Greek. Those correspond to Greek letters.
Sigma, Phi, Delta, Kappa.
Kappa Delta. Sigma Phi Kappa Delta.
Okay, I've written it down.
because
Do you
those
think
are-
that that's the important thing in this?
Yeah. Emerald, whatever. Paso de Mar, Florida. Cocktails, reception. Oh! On the top!
Yeah, I wrote that down.
I wonder if that is the same. I think...
Reminder, the sophomore book sale is on Wednesday. Buy book donations. The past book club now meet on Mondays. Change on school bulletin. Okay, I'll be super... Oh, Eloise Drew.
But no, I'm going to say that what I thought would have been the cooler way to communicate the puzzle. Like, they would have had to have also had some sort of Greek
Just-
alphabet thing.
Trust me, they're gonna make you do enough reading in this. Just take the victory word. This game has a lot
Okay.
of weird key. O with a line. K. 5 or S. Bottom. I love when safes are like extra.
Ooh,
Oh,
slider
hey!
puzzle.
This is the moment where I go, nothing matters. When I saw a slider puzzle in Survivor, that was the moment where I went, I'd just leave. I'd just be like, you know what, you can have the $1 million. No. No slider puzzle. This also feels like a good time to do some exposition though. So, when you play a Nancy Drew game from Her Interactive, you're kind of you're often faced with puzzles that employ what I believe is called moon logic, where once you find out the solution, instead of feeling smart, you feel angry at the company that made the game. And as such, it's quite common to just straight up cheat when necessary. Because sometimes it is. I'm not saying it is for this puzzle. If I was playing, it surely would be. Yeah, welcome to Slider Puzzles.
That one was a bit harder because I couldn't see the image.
What's the password? Come on.
And,
Oh, wise elder.
Eloise Drew Wise Elder.
I like to think that everyone knows what her password is, but like she's so full of herself and no one can stand her, they just can't bring themselves to write it. That's my headcanon.
Okay, so looks like there's nothing more there.
Eloise, Aunt Eloise in this game, I think that she's mentioned a few more times, she is never important. Spoiler alert. So whatever is in here is important enough to be hidden with her secret passport and loose money. Like, this lady is ready to cut ties and run. That wasn't like credit card, that was cash, that was $100 bills.
Yeah.
That was Neil Caffrey levels
that was a wad.
I wish that she
of-
would have opened the passport and it would have been like a totally different name. Like Aunt Eloise's picture.
Maybe that's why she's never mentioned again.
At some point she just fled the country. So the cabinet isn't really important until later.
Yeah.
Nothing is important. This is not one of my favorite games, and I shouldn't go into it.
So
like,
which...
bitter.
Oh, I can't see that. So do we leave? We can't leave.
You have to leave. You have to leave through that door. I don't know why it's not letting you. Oh.
Why was it showing the U-turn symbol?
Oh, that's the best thing in the world.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
so the
Okay.
few places you can go are Maxine's Diner, the school, and a drug place.
Okay,
It's
so
too far away, I
to be
can't see
clear, this game came on 2 CDs, so I don't suppose you remember which areas are on which CD.
All I remember is that every time I went to another building, I had to change the CD.
Okay.
The school is massive, so I'd imagine.
So we have Vandalay Pharmaceuticals, Maxine's Diner, Paso Del Mar High School, and we're already onto Aloe's house.
How's I?
Dang, that's a ritzy house.
Yeah, criminals have nice places. Maybe she killed the kid.
So do we go to the high school or the diner or
Well, like
pharmaceuticals?
honestly, the high school is where we need to go to get. Yep.
Yeah, insert disc 2. The
So if
joys
you've ever
of...
played Riven, you know how frustrating this is because that one had 5 discs.
Oh yeah. But admittedly, that game had them better spaced out.
Well, right, because they were for different islands, and so you got it.
Yeah. And it was pretty logical, like whenever you went on a tram, you would change discs.
And I mean, it's still logically, you have no idea how big this school is. And when I say the school is big, I mean the library is big. And when I say the library is big, what I mean is the library is insufferable and a special kind of purgatory that you get to suffer through. Play it. Play okay.
Click OK to play. Click exit to quit.
For girls who aren't afraid of mice.
A mouse. For girls who aren't afraid of a mouse.
That's right. More
Also-
than one, and it's terrifying.
Also, the CD drive was like clicking.
Yeah, we're
It's still
getting
clicking.
funny noises. But that's old games, baby. I can't believe how young our contact is in the original. No, wait. But in the... Wait, so he's the guy... Did they just add another character in the remake? I feel like they added another character in the remake.
Probably. Also, the mic is barely picking you up
That
when you
was
talk
him.
that softly.
So... If I talk much louder, I'm gonna lose my voice. It's one of those days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. By days, I mean weeks.
For some reason, the CD drive is not loving disc 2. Do we own this somewhere else?
No.
We should.
Wait. I might have a copy in the basement. You can run down and see if I do. I'll keep them entertained with the random Nancy Drew. This is like
Yeah.
one of the 2 game series that I actually know enough about that I could talk about it for a while. Write a few papers on it, maybe. It's good. You know, I will make jokes about the quality, but I kind of feel like everyone who likes the Nancy Drew games kind of mocks the quality of the games at some point or another. None of us are under the mistaken impression that these are like masterpieces, but they are fun. And that's the thing, most people who make something based off of Nancy Drew, it's rarely good. Like, there's now a Supernatural thing on the CW, I guess. Like, I'm not gonna watch it. But that's kind of what people do with Nancy Drew. They take it and they make really bad, stupid content, but they're like, oh, we'll get the girls to watch it. Because girls like Nancy Drew, and they kind of fail to understand that the reason we like Nancy Drew is because the stories are interesting. But that's why her interactive actually gets like pretty major props from me, because in this, it actually is interesting. Like, I'm not saying that the stories are always great or that the characters are always well written, or even most of the time, but they're interesting, you know? There's effort put in, and even though her interactive, like, they're a company, I don't know if they still are, it's kind of up in the air. They're pretending they still are, but we'll see. It feels very much like an indie game, and so you kind of have that feel in the community where it's this fun little thing that we can make fun of, but people who don't like it can't. That's how it works. This is definitely one of the rougher games, just in terms of being able to play it, as you're seeing right here. Like, there's a reason they don't sell it anymore.
It actually works fine on modern systems.
Oh, then maybe we should be playing it on a modern system. You're right, it's working great. Oh, that's so cute, it's blinking.
I think I have to
The heck was
reboot
that
the computer.
noise?
I think it I think it crashed. I really, really hope we're actually able to play this.
I agree, mainly because I don't remember all of the ways that it differs from the remake. The remake is okay. I'm not gonna pretend that that's a masterpiece either. But, it's funny. I think some people try to argue that, like, her interactive hit their stride during this range of games. And I'm like, no, they never hit their stride. They made games very consistently twice a year for quite a while. Some of them were great.
Like
Some
the
of
better
them
part
weren't.
Of, like, what, a decade and a half?
It felt like it. I don't know how long it was, but that was their model. That was what they did. I don't think they ever hit their stride because there was never any consistency in the quality of their work. And then if you ask the community, like, there's a fairly active community on Reddit that talks about Nancy Drew games, and there is dissension in the ranks as to what constitutes a good Nancy Drew game, because some people will swear up and down that, like, some of the earlier games were objectively the best, and I'm sitting here going, questionable. But, like, those are what was best for them. They liked those. And so, good for them.
Oh, great, I have to.
And
slide it.
remember to get the key again. And the weird passport. But yeah, so... And it kind of depends upon what you're going into these for. Like, I don't know if I made it clear, but I don't like puzzles. So for me, the puzzle-heavy games are some of the worst games that they've ever made. But for other people, they absolutely love those. Like, some people really love Secret of the Scarlet Hand. And I'll be honest, that is at the very bottom of my list. I hate that game so much.
It gets props for me for the ending.
It loses all props from me for the ending. Like, you don't remember the ending. You remember the, ooh, spooky part of the ending. But you don't remember what happens immediately after that, and it ruins the game. You just you forgot the key, hun. Key.
Ah,
I feel like in this version, the door to the elevator, I feel like you have to solve that puzzle every single time. Yeet. Phone card.
oh, we already got it.
Was there anything else? You can always check. I feel like there should be more in here, but it might be because I'm remembering the remake.
Yeah, that's at least like.
That's a couple $100.
Yeah.
She's getting ready. There's Aunt Eloise is on the move. Hey, 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 go back, my dude.
What? I got everything, didn't I?
Unlock.
Unlock. There's
Oh,
nothing in
also
it.
open the...
I can unlock it, but there's nothing in it.
Did you make sure?
Yeah. Wait, what? A quarter. Okay.
Yes.
That was a tiny little detail.
And check the drawer.
The drawer.
Oh, the drawer.
Oh, right.
I don't know if this game is one of those that lets you solve puzzles if you haven't actually looked at the solution. Oh, that's another thing that gets me. We solved this one. We solved it. But we couldn't solve it. We're like, look, these are clearly supposed to correspond to notes on a piano. And so there's a piano, let's play the song. And we played it and it didn't work, and we're like, okay, maybe we're supposed to play it in a different octave, and that didn't work. We're like, maybe we're supposed to play it backwards, that didn't work. And finally we discover, oh, it's because we haven't found the sheet of paper that explains to Nancy how to play a piano and read music. And coming from a family where we are taught to read music at the same time that we are taught how to read, it's a little
There we go.
frustrating. Yay, we can be at the
Yay.
school. There are a lot of things to look at in the school. The mighty zoom-in powers are in full display here. You can click on everything. How many people have the same number? Oh, no, wait. It was just at a weird angle. I was like, how many 33 jerseys are there?
Learning is the only thing the mind ever exhausts.
Never exhausts.
Never exhausts. Never fears and never regrets.
Leonardo da Vinci was a liar! You hit a limit sometimes. Can't do anything with this.
The what?
Ah.
You can stick it in the What are you doing?
I'm making things inconvenient for you because I need a drink.
Okay, well.
Keep an eye out. Oh my gosh, that was fast. Do you ever accidentally go super speed through a hallway? You gotta go fast. Look at all the bulletin boards, by the way. Write it down!
555 drug.
Because in these older games, you have to write down the phone numbers because
Ye.
they don't... Okay. It's always a good sign to see that on the floor of a... Look at the bulletin boards!
Okay, so right now the music is nearly inaudible.
Yeah, that's fine. It's the same, like, 8 measures over and over again on repeat. You're gonna get tired of it pretty fast. Okay, guys. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
But look at everything and
Fighting
don't, like...
manatees.
Don't... You're missing things.
No, I'm not.
Okay, this is how you look for things. I'm gonna... Well, that was it. You have your
It's
mouse.
not my fault my
go
eyes are
over
fast.
All really, your eyes are fast.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this isn't the right bulletin board. And like I said, I played the remastered version. But like, your eyes aren't fast because you also missed the quarter, so.
Yearbook's coming soon.
Okay, so what do you see?
SEA or...
Or
Sear... Search... Below... Dang... Ooh. I lost my place.
you're at students.
Search below dang danger Sigan sign below danger sign in kitchen.
So you get a little taste of what it's like to do puzzles in this game. These are pretty easy, to be honest.
Check below danger sign in kitchen.
Yes. So,
Where?
do you feel like...
This way?
Yeah, look around. Look at everything. You're missing things. You've missed something.
Oh my gosh, Deb.
Because you just flick the mouse over. There we go.
Can. Paul Tanka.
Okay, how do you think that...
Tanika?
How do you think that name is pronounced?
Paul Tanika?
Hal?
Hal Tanika? What?
I'm writing it down.
So we can't pick it up?
No.
Well, that's weird.
Really weird.
You'd think we'd like return it.
This is a cute thing that Her Interactive does, where she'll put pictures of, I'm assuming, the staff and their family members scattered throughout the game.
Yeah.
It does create a little dissonance when, like, go through each one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you obviously missed some stuff
No!
by waving your mouse around.
Oh. Okay. Every person counts. Remember this date. Saturday, June 11th. Let's make a difference. Orchard Park Peninsula University Parkway north of Paso County Club. Go to the east parking lot. Everyone will be fed lunch. See, it wasn't important.
Yeah, and you knew that. You didn't mistakenly miss it because you were going like this. It takes a little while for these older games. So respect the process. Yes. Okay, and since you're gonna drive me literally out of my mind, I'm going to do the pixel searching on these. Like, no, not all of these are important. But some of them, it helps. Look, men, judo, they kick like men.
The kick. Oh.
Sometimes Her Interactive just likes to display their mighty zoom-in powers.
Admittedly, you can need that to
In a
have
mystery game, yeah.
red herrings.
Yeah, because you're like, well, maybe the sound is important. and
Because
then you realize
otherwise
that
it
it's the
can-
same song everywhere.
Because otherwise it can just turn into a picture search.
Yes. For reference. Oh, look.
Oh, we can buy it. We have coin.
Yeah, I bet that's important. Anyway, I'll let you take over now. It's Connie.
Hi, I'm Connie. You're not from around here, are you? Usually
Oh,
Paseo Del Mar High is really quiet and boring. Today, it's totally out of control.
You don't press the number. You
Out of control?
There are a ton of police on campus today. It's wild.
it's wild.
Why all the police?
Someone found a dead body at school this morning.
I kind of miss them doing the animation like this. It actually feels more real.
Who was killed?
Oh, just this wannabe stud named Jake Rogers.
What do you mean?
He wanted to be a
Jake
horse.
Rogers was a total creep. Nobody liked him. I gotta go now. Later.
Someone was murdered and you are a suspect. No one liked him. He was a creep. Loser.
Also, I've gotta go.
Yeah, the Nancy Drew suspects are notoriously just like...
Do we continue handling?
What's up, Nancy?
You can, and I think you can make them annoyed.
Oh, I think that's a Japanese character on her neck.
Goodbye.
See ya.
I wonder if that's going to be important. I have to pretend not to know anything because I've played this game before.
Yeah, so have I.
Have you?
Yes.
You're trying
I
to go
played it-
upstairs that have never worked, and you've avoided the door.
Okay, I have... Oh, this is Braille.
No, this is Morse code.
And now look at her socks.
Oh man. Ah, the study dome.
The study dome.
Or, do you want to go to the study dome? Go to the
The study dome.
Yeah. Man, this is so boring.
The...
I mean, so cool.
Taku.
Oh, look!
Oh, hey, that's a cipher.
You're a cipher.
Jake's locker comb? Como?
Pronounce all the letters.
Combo. Was part of his fame. Just find a phone to decode his name. Oh, Jake. Jake.
I wonder where a phone would be.
Jake.
Anyway, look at the rest of this. Should I write down cake?
Jake phone.
It's okay, I'll remember.
Seniors. All entries.
It doesn't matter, that was
Oh.
what was important. Like, look at the rest of the bulletin
Look at.
board.
Okay.
Who cares what the seniors are doing? I don't care about the debate team. Do you care about
Just say no.
Just don't say no. Don't
Don't bother
bother Luke.
Luke.
Just Don't say no. It's a weird message to be sending at school, but
The psychology club. Thoughtful group.
boring.
Okay.
See, you're like, I read fast. And I'm like,
No, I don't. I read
oh,
interminably
so you
slowly.
going like this over the screen?
No, I can I see fast. I
A
don't
new
read
face.
fast.
Hi, my name's Hal. You
A
sure
new
arrived
face?
on a day with a lot of
Activity?
activity.
What?
How?
What?
I
Wait,
love
what?
this. Oliver, no, don't click anything. You can either say new face, activity, how? Why on earth would you be like, why is your name Hal? What a weird thing to ask, Nancy. Cal, learn some. No! That's such a weird.
Hal Tanaka. Actually, my first name is much longer than that. But I wanted to fit in here in America, so I chose Hal as my nickname.
This is what Natalie was talking about.
I'm a Japanese exchange student.
Remember when she did that speech about how Asian representation
Why do you
in
think
media?
it's easier to have an American name?
Oh my gosh, Nancy.
Why do you think
Oh
it's
my
easier
gosh.
to have an American name?
I want to be part of the culture and succeed in this country.
No, Natalie's video about how Asian representation in media suffers from the
Why are you here? Yeah.
Well, do you plan on staying in America after you finish high school?
My family is counting on me to succeed here. I must make them proud of me.
Proud of you? Nancy, what is your problem? Maybe this is why they don't sell it anymore. They're like, look, we're embarrassed.
Succeed?
Proud
In my
of
family,
you?
it's very important to succeed. I believe hard work will get me into a good university. Jake Rogers tried to take the easy way out, and look where that led him.
Bottom of staircase.
What do you mean? You're not implying suicide, are you?
Yeah, he beat
What do you
himself
mean,
up
the
and
easy
pushed
way?
himself down the staircase.
I feel uncomfortable speaking about this now. Please, excuse me.
Oh, also, this isn't as.
He got
I'm
Just
behind in my
coming
studies and I
forward.
must get back to the library. Bye, Nancy.
Ah.
But yeah, this isn't as noticeable like on video, but when you're actually playing it, you see this cursor here. You'd think that you want to aim with the tip of it, but actually, it's like a quarter of the way down. That's the actual point.
Yeah, this is a fun game. I want to say that every game. No, don't. Okay. Fine. Go to the phone. I can see that that's what's important
Oh,
to you.
that's not even what I was
So
intending.
you saw a giant blue phone and you were like, I don't know, pizza? Also look at the pizza.
What? Okay. 555 Tony.
Anyway, do you understand? Do you understand what they've been doing here?
Oh my gosh. Oh, it was torn out.
Yes.
Ooh.
But do you understand what they've been doing here? By showing these phone numbers? Explain it to the kids at home.
Oh. They've been showing these to emphasize the relation between letters and numbers on telephones. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's not giving us a... Do we have to use this to get a close-up?
You have to use the phone card in order to use the phone. It's their way
Okay,
of-
Jake!
Dude, do you not know how to
5,
spell Jake?
2, 5, 3.
Okay.
Do we have to call anyone?
Let's say no, because I hate talking to people on the phone and answering video games. It's long, it's boring, and then Ned
Well,
whines.
specifically when you have to dial a complete 1+9 phone number? Or 10?
One. I can't remember the area code, but it's 555-4468. Hi, Bess. Pom poms. Anyway, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Look at the board. Look at the board. Look at the board. Whatever.
Warning, tampering with crime scene evidence is a federal offense and is punishable by law. Violators may incur a maximum prison sentence up to 15 years and fined up to $100,100. That's awfully specific.
Anyway, let's tamper with the evidence. 525.
Nice.
Tampering with evidence is fine as long as you're Nancy and your father is a lawyer.
So there's a missing videotape.
Oh, so we weren't the first people to tamper with it.
Judo today.
Judo.
Judo.
There was a masked participant who won, and they did really good. That's cool. It might come up later. Let's move on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to read that.
No, look down. Look down!
Oh. Oh, really?
In this game, every time you solve a puzzle, you have to solve the puzzle again, basically. Like, that's dramatic, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's the worst, like, Photoshop I've seen in a game like this.
Oh, you'll see worse. So he has a video camera. That's very weird. No one ever has a video camera. He also has a newspaper.
Peso Times.
So he saved this.
Break it at local
Ooh,
pharmacy.
should we harass the police?
What's that?
Should we harass the police?
Why?
I don't know, it'd be fun. Society, am I right?
It's just crazy.
Anyway,
is
I
that the
don't-
only important thing?
It's important to know that there was a break-in at the local pharmacy where steroids were stolen.
Ooh, steroids.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Don't do that anymore. This is so fascinating. Oh look, there's a thing on the ground that you won't look at.
What?
But it's there. Just want you to look at it.
God dang it, Deb. I can't even walk down that way.
Yeah, you can.
It didn't let me.
Oh, look at the eye chart.
The eye
It's an
chart.
eye chart.
There's a name for these. Also, there's a hidden message, isn't there?
An eye chart.
Ekemol. Oh wait, that view? Is this important?
I can't remember, but I need to get closer because I literally
Make
can't.
Yule.
Do you think that's how you're supposed to read it? Make Yule?
Yule make.
Yep, those are the only letters on the screen.
I don't know where it wants. If you can
Read this. Then. Bless me.
make no
Mistake. A.
genuine
First class detective you'll make. Boo!
Oh gosh.
Boo, her interactive. Boo!
Yeah, I thought this would be a
You never know what's
Easter
going to be
egg.
important in this game. Some things are important, some things aren't, most things aren't. Just in life in general.
Fighting manatees.
Oh, look! Dude guy.
Whoa! A new girl at school. Do you realize what destiny has brought you today? Yours truly, Hector Hulk Sanchez.
A girl.
So, Connie introduces herself, and we don't go Connie, but both guys introduce themselves, and we're like, Hal? Hulk?
How did you know I was new here?
Please don't flirt. Insert
Hey,
UC
you're
to find
talking to
out.
the man, the #1 football player in the state of Florida. I know all the beautiful girls at
There
Paseo
are
Del Mar
games
High. Are
like
you
that.
kidding?
This fell out, and I was like, I'm not missing anything. In fact, I didn't even write his name down. I care for him that little. So I'm sorry, his name is Hank.
How do you know
He's
all
writing
the other
down
girls
Hank,
at
so-
school?
Oh.
Isn't it obvious? I'm tall, dark, handsome. Not to mention a superstar athlete.
I want to say that the writing gets better.
Everybody knows Hulk Sanchez, and the Hulk knows everybody.
Did you know the guy who was killed?
Did you know the guy who was killed?
I knew Jake, but I didn't hang out with him. Sorry, can't talk now. I gotta go to practice. Later.
Watch him go to practice. Who said jocks are dumb?
That's not practice, that's standing in place. Anyway,
Coin.
coin?
Trying to figure out what the purpose of the coin is in this game. See, the purpose in the normal game.
The normal game, you mean the remake?
Yes. I'm sorry, this one is the outlier. I know it was made first, and so we have to blindly be like, it's the best thing that ever existed because they made it first. Look at
Well,
the pink
it
thing on the floor.
set the tone
It's-
for the series to come.
Right, but like they polished things that it's hard to be like, yes,
Are we
this
done
this
here?
is what a Nancy Drew game looks like. Spinning in a circle. No, you aren't. You've barely begun. For one thing, you didn't look at the piece of paper on the floor, and I'm very upset about that.
But I couldn't!
Excuses. That's not how you go. Turn to the right, turn to the right, turn to the right.
Oh.
No, the pink one, Peter.
What pink one?
And go back to where the Hulk is practicing. Again, I don't know if this is going to be important. Also, did you look at the bulletin board in here? I can't remember.
The Bubbleton board?
Yeah, the Bubbleton board. What do you think? Did you look at it?
What Bubbleton? This Bubbleton board?
Yeah, that Bubbleton board. Do you feel proud of yourself right now? Your ancestors smiling down on you. I hate this game sometimes. You're supposed to get a mirror.
Nowhere to turn to, nowhere to hide. Let the books in the library be your answer guide.
So basically instructing you that you're supposed to read
And then you're supposed to
a
get
symbol of
kanji. Kanji.
Worn with great pride reflects a big secret that someone must hide. I love that Jake must have been the one to leave these, because I can only imagine that after making so many stupid, cryptic Dr. Seuss puzzles and leaving them around the school, that's why he was murdered. Newt T.
No, this is these two combined. So, mirrored and upside
Do
down.
you have a mirror? I don't think I carry. Actually, oh my gosh, you know how I have everything in my purse? How much would you laugh if I actually had a mirror?
Well,
in
I
here?
have a mirror.
Yeah, but it would be funny if I had one, because I don't use mirrors. I have a flippin' Nancy Drew mirror.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't use it, that there was something we needed, and I was like, it's gonna be in my purse. Ooh, I
You
got a
realize how
drink.
terrible this is?
Drinks are good.
He did what it took to make the grade, even if it meant cheating to keep up his charade.
So this is an example of Dora. They don't trust us to make observations.
Varsity
on our own.
Club!
That's the takeaway.
I don't know what varsity means. At this point, I'm too
It's a
scared
city that's
to...
far away. Varsity.
Oh, golly gosh.
I know sports.
Oh, there's a pink one on the floor! Ah!
It's very important.
Huh.
Anyway, go down the hall.
This hall?
No. Yeah. Sorry, all the halls look the same.
I mean, yes, admittedly. Oh, this is not the same hub place as before.
No, it is not. That's why we go
Oh,
here.
bikini lady.
Oh, cool. We love bikini ladies.
Actually, I
Big
think she was
fan.
technically in a one piece.
Well, then we have to hang you.
Ah! This is the same thing. Is this important?
So you must grab the... Oh,
Gun.
yeah. Freaking heck. No, don't look at it anymore.
Huh?
It's a spoiler for the last scene.
Well, is it a spoiler or a hint on what to do?
I don't care. Either way, it's a spoiler, and we don't need that kind of negativity in our lives.
Okay.
We'll take a look at this, but I suspect it'll be about the same.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm either Torum Oviac.
Oh.
This is an actual cipher type deal.
Well, sort of. There's more than one way to remove chains.
To remove chains.
Oh, sorry, no, chains so thick. Aside from
Oh.
the combination. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, this is another cheat. That just tells you how to solve a puzzle if we're assuming that we're stupid, which we are, but like, don't assume. I shouldn't have said we.
Library.
I wonder.
I
what
need
he'd
something to make this work.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what makes her interactive
something to
Nancy
make
Drew
this
one of the best Nancy Drews. Because she is almost a detective in this. But it's unfortunately Dora levels.
Oh my gosh, that.
SATs. Sabotage should cause concern, but with the gloves you will not. Oh my gosh, it's letting you know that you can use gloves to avoid burning your hands. This is all vital information. I never would have figured that out on my own.
Okay, the only puzzle, to be completely honest, that I remember from this game involves the diner.
Yeah, that's one of them. There aren't a lot of puzzles, mostly it's just pixel searching and reading. And then getting mad about bulletin boards. Just make sure that you try to search everything. Also, if you miss any books in here, your life is basically over because then you have to go through them all again. So go through slowly. Every single shelf you have to go through. If you were able to zoom in and there wasn't any book to click, you messed up. I do not recall you being able to miss. Okay, we're gonna assume that that's okay.
Man.
I don't know if we have to read the books, to be honest. Like, there's so...
Is this a picture search? Or a word search?
Well, diner... Can't tell if this is a skip code or not. Don't think it's a skip code.
Rum.
You know what? Let's assume that we can figure things out on our own. I'm kind of over her interactive's attempts at making word puzzles. Oh god. This is an obvious skip code, so it's
Oh, it
the
is.
old culture you must take, or you could be the next plague. Oh, this is so cringy. Zero stars. I'm not saying that the remake is much better, but like...
Old dude.
magazines. Sports.
Today.
I like that you can only open it at the top.
Dianabol is a steroid and was one of the drugs stolen from the drug depot.
This is where she realized that steroids were stolen, but we knew that already.
Hiker's guy.
Can you smile wistfully as you carry 50 pounds on your back? What should I do with the water bottle? Drink it? No, just sort of play with the cup, like the top part. Just...
Incorrigible.
Thank you! I tried being corrigible once and it just didn't work out.
N. Morse code.
This is where we learn how to decipher Morse code, but I hate it, so we won't do that. I ain't writing it down. If we need it, we're gonna look it up online.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, sure.
Like, no, this game is not going to make me write down an alphabet in Morse code.
Classifying fingerprints. Arc.
I really
leap,
don't
leap.
think this is a word.
V-wart. The wart?
I don't remember this ever being important.
Combination. Oh, combination.
It's amazing. F is for...
Fingerprint.
You okay?
Mostly.
Braille! Ah, bleep.
What?
We actually do need to know this.
I mean,
But I can't remember what...
But Braille is also
We can also
something we
look
can
it up.
look up.
Yeah. Check the other bottom. Oh, you already checked.
That medallion Connie is wearing is kanji for crane.
Ah.
Crane!
The Order of the Crane.
The cranes that attacked Jake and pushed him down the stairs. I'm gonna be honest, most of the things we discover in this game are gonna fall flat in the category of this didn't really matter, did it?
Ooh.
This does matter. English essays through the ages, a diverse collection of literary works, blah 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 blah. But now you've seen it, that's what's important. And I think that Nancy remembers it, so we're not gonna write anything down.
Is that the only...
I think so. But I mean, I also thought the pink paper was gonna be important, so take what I say with like a gallon
Oh,
of booze.
no.
Yes. Congratulations! This is the part where you have to, and you have to be looking at exactly the right angle.
No. Oh.
This is how it's shaken
Optical
down.
illusions, don't believe your eyes. I wish I weren't. Faces of violence.
Frustration, anger, hatred, paranoia, prejudice, powerlessness. This is just explaining why somebody might push someone down the stairs, because this is the violent version of Dora the Explorer,
Violent version.
where we're just sort of assuming, scroll up!
I can't.
You have to search every
Shoot.
bookshelf very carefully.
I'm pretty sure I already. There.
You already there?
Yeah.
Okay. If you already there, then what am I?
Shut the heck up.
Oh, look.
Palmistry.
It doesn't matter. They love throwing in those things, though. They're like, if you wanted to learn alchemy.
Elementary school was very keen on teaching us about that sort of stuff too.
Yeah, we're not gonna get too political here, but given that they couldn't even figure out how to tell us about Christopher Columbus, the correct version, and not the, he wanted to prove the earth was round, he was a hero. Like, I went to school in the late 90s and early 00s, and that's what they were spending their time on. Okay.
Protecting the manatees.
More phone numbers. I don't care. I really don't care. Manatees aren't important in this game. I think they just wanted an opportunity to explain, look, they're the fighting manatees. Get it? Like, manatee.
Gemini. Taurus. Capricorn. Are these necessary?
No. Like, maybe there's a puzzle that involves them, but if
There's a puzzle that involves them. I recognize that.
Okay.
What?
I don't. I
No,
have no
like,
memory
At
of.
the end. At the. I don't remember much, but I remember that being a part of the puzzle at the end. So, squiggle lines.
Have we really already gone through all the good company names that you have to name yourself Blue? What a dumb name. It's good though, because then if you look up blue speakers online, you'll see a bunch of colored blue speakers. That's my thing. I'm like, what are these companies
Blue,
thinking?
They make microphones, not speakers. And
It
they're
looks
very
like a
well
speaker.
known.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of us know about them now.
They're very well known and like respected.
I don't respect them. They look like failed Aperture Science robots.
That's the blue
They couldn't
snowball.
figure. What
They're
isn't
best
it's
known
white.
for their Blue Yeti microphones.
Are they the people who made the tumblers? The water bottles.
No.
Oh, because I made a mistake there. They were like, I love my Yeti water bottle. And I'm like, oh my gosh! Does it have like a Yeti printed on it? That's so cool! Or is it like shaped like a Yeti? And then I find out that it's like a brand name. They didn't even respond, somebody else did. And I was like, oh. Not only am I embarrassed, but I'm deeply, deeply disappointed. What a wasted potential that was. It's weirdly hypnotic as it rolls around because of its weird little legs. I'm sure this isn't messing up the audio for me to be playing with. I hate this music. Why do I have it in my ear? They seem to have maybe 3 songs that are maybe 3 minutes long, and they played them on repeat. And it gets old. Wow. The earth is so quiet without earphones. I like it.
Oh yeah, I suppose this would be especially hard for you given how often you will have played this as a kid.
Yeah. I think I
Whereas
played
was a
this
dumb
more than
kid-
you.
Whereas I was a really small kid. Young.
That's the word.
I was really young.
He was young when he was little. No, he's my little brother, and so at the time when I would have been playing this, he would have been playing, like, Yobi.
I'm not even that. I was really dumb.
You weren't. But no, now that I think about it, I don't think you liked Yobi. You would have been playing Blue's Clues games. Lloyd, yep. Lloyd was
I had,
fun.
Blue's Birthday Adventure. Also I'm done.
Oh, good, so am I. Secrets can kill. Fun game for kids. Starts with a murder. Anyway, I'm not recommending this for anyone under, like...
Oh
What do
yeah,
you
no,
reckon?
this game is definitely for either historical purposes,
Move the earphone. You're shouting.
either for historical purposes, or nostalgia.
Yeah. Excuse me. This is so boring.
D-O-N. Don't run. Nancy. Don't run, Nancy.
Sounds good. Stop the game.
So I think we've looked at all the books now.
All of the books on that side of the library that is 2 stories high.
Oh, we can go up the stairs.
Tragically.
Paso Del
Oh,
Mar
oh, oh.
Memorial Library.
Write down the number. Here.
6683.
I don't know if it's important, but it's a number. You write down numbers. Some games are better than others. This game, believe it or not,
Oh,
despite
that's
how
some
I'm
attention to
complaining.
detail. There's like,
Ding.
yeah.
Yeah. No, but despite my complaints, which are mostly that it's boring, which it is, and that it doesn't run well, because it doesn't, despite that, this is one of their middle-of-the-road games. It's not as, like, horrifically bad as some of their games have managed to be.
Is this phone number important?
Ah, shoot, probably.
Oh, gosh.
I got bored. You're doing it now. I also love that the only code that's probably important, I have no interest in solving. I think it's one of those...
Writing S and I keep writing 8 instead of S.
CW and D... Oh! Connie, maybe? Connie and Dwayne?
The Rock Johnson.
Well, or the character who's our contact.
Oh.
But, yeah.
Rosie and John.
Yeah, them too. Whoever.
Or John, because it's cursive. The Vampire Diaries.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes,
Oh my gosh!
the thing.
The thing! It's not because we like the Vampire Diaries, in case anyone gets that
And
impression.
that's because Deb watches Jenny Nicholson.
She's hilarious.
She is.
And she just released a 2.5-hour video about the Vampire Diaries. When she released a 20-minute video about Avengers Endgame. And half of that video was discussing how she was just done with it. Oh man. I love sarcasm done well. Can you turn it all?
No,
Okay.
now I can.
Well, here we go. Another round of books. Oh my gosh. They reintroduced that in Midnight in Salem, didn't they? I seem to recall being angry and having to read books in Midnight in Salem. And here's my thing.
It wasn't as
Books are good. Books are great. I write books.
boiler
I
operations.
do not want to read books on a computer screen.
The lever and junction valves are safety devices.
I don't care. Just go away from it. We've looked at it and now Nancy knows it.
No, it's. I will of course say it's different in this game than in a game like Myst, because Myst, you know,
It's really not. I don't like reading in game. Did you look up?
yes.
Okay.
I started up.
Okay. How did you like the ending? Hey.
Judo handbook.
Actually, go back to that. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Oh, and in case you're wondering, we're the reason why we're going through the books and not reading any of them is because
They're not important.
they aren't. But the way that the Nancy Drew games are made, they might be necessary for us to have looked at.
Right, like I mentioned earlier in the stream that you can't solve like the music puzzle until you look at the how to read music book, even if you know how to read music. Because they're like, oh, you don't know how to do this yet, haha. It's like, ugh, just let me solve the puzzle. Myst was the best. Just make it so that you can solve the puzzle at any point.
Oh yeah.
Look, sign language.
And again, all of the books are relevant for both story and puzzle reasons in Myst.
Oh my gosh. So we can sign the password for Jake's locker combination? Why does this exist? They highlighted the 3 numbers that are used for Jake's locker combination and Jake in sign language. What was
Really?
the point of that? You never, I remember, you never use sign language in this game. You're never put into a dangerous situation and the bad guy goes, I'll let you go on one condition. Sign Jake's name and the combination to his locker. And okay, here's my thing. I love educational games. I love games that teach you things. I don't love games. I'm done. I don't love games that force you to read like little. Like, it's not learning to just read a random page about this is what judo
Yeah,
is. It's like, no, like integrate it into your game if you want to teach.
So now where do we go?
Just wherever, talk to people again until you make them mad and then leave.
Hi, Nancy.
Have you heard of Hulk Sanchez?
None of these conversations
Heard of
matter,
him.
so I won't be listening.
Hulk holds the conference record for quarterback sacks. He's been the state's #1 player since he was a freshman. He's also a candidate for a big university,
Like, I mean, technically
even with
they
his
matter if
injury.
you don't know how the story ends, but
Injury?
Hulk got hurt a few weeks ago. Ever since that game, he hasn't played the same.
oh no.
I worry that his
Just-
chances of playing for a top school are not as good as before his injury.
I like that Hal worries about Hank. They do seem like the
Do
kind
you
of
know
people
Connie
who would be
Watson?
besties.
Yes, we've been in a
I'm
few
very
classes
concerned
together.
about his
I think she
prospects
was
for
dating Jake
college.
Rogers.
Yeah, me too, Hank. I just met him. I'm deeply
Do
invested
you know
in
why
their
Jake had a
characters.
video camera in his locker?
I didn't know Jake was interested in video. I avoided him whenever I could.
Popular guy.
Talk to you later.
Yeah,
Goodbye,
everyone
Nancy.
hated him. I wonder how he died. Keep spinning.
Well, it sounded like it was just a matter of time, so we're going to conclude the investigation here.
We have like 50 suspects. All of them say that they would have done it if they had the chance. I don't think there's any solving this.
How's it going?
Got what was coming to him.
Each person's
What can you tell
statement
me
began
about
with,
Connie
"Got what
Watson?"
was coming to him. Lock me up if
She
I'm
hangs
telling
out
a
at the gym a
lie."
lot. I heard she's been having a real tough time.
Yeah, the skeezy little twerp. Oh no, he's talking about Connie. I'm not listening. I was still on Jake.
Oh,
so.
you're still not listening?
Why do
No,
you think
this
she
is so
hangs out at the
boring.
gym so much?
Because that is kind of.
I don't know. She's
People
a pretty
get
good
mad
athlete, but
when
never
I'm
joined
like,
any
"Yeah, I
of
skip
Paseo del Mar's
dialogue."
teams.
They're like, "How dare you? This is a masterpiece."
Why do you think she
And I'm
never
like, "Yeah,
joined
but
any
it isn't
teams?
though." And if I've already heard
Not
it
exactly
once,
sure.
and it wasn't that interesting the first time,
Do you know
like,
Hal Tanaka?
the game is fine.
That dude
Like,
is always studying. He's
if
a
you
huge
only
fan
have
of mine.
3
Real smart guy.
games of Nancy
But I never
Drew to
understood
play,
why a
and this
brain
is
like
one of
Tanaka
them,
would hang
like
out
we
with
did,
slime like Jake Rogers.
You're gonna play it a lot.
Oh, hey! He said that Tanaka hanged out with Jake.
Yes.
Fan?
You don't remember the ending?
Tanaka never missed a game.
No.
That is.
Oh, then this would be
until
more
he started
interesting
hanging
for you.
out with Jake.
Like, I've said this, like,
I'm
several
sorry.
times.
Did I mention?
You also know that the ending here is different than in the remaster, right?
Yeah. But I know who the bad guy is. I know how he stopped.
I think this guy's the bad guy, but I couldn't say for certain sure.
Hal was a friend of Jake's?
Ow. Ow.
Let's just say I saw them talking together a lot. Jake's locker was right next to Hal's. Now that I think of it, last time I saw them together, Hal seemed pretty upset.
So if you haven't played the game, it's still better than Midnight in Salem. But if you haven't played the game, it's good to listen to all the dialogue because you kind of get a sense for what the
I'm
mystery
really sorry
is
you got
in the
injured.
story.
Does that affect your chances of playing
But on
college
replays,
ball?
it's kind of insufferable to listen.
Where'd you hear that?
I mean,
I'm
not
as strong as
Unless
ever.
you don't remember.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, what?
How's it going?
How's it going?
No thanks.
Do you know why Jake had a video camera in his locker?
Steak isn't going to be the only
I didn't
murder.
pay much attention to Jake. I'm tired of talking about that loser.
Something okay with your cute man?
Back off, Nancy.
Tell me about the robbery at the drug depot pharmacy.
Why would I know about a robbery? All I know about is football.
I believe him. Hulk love football. Hulk marry football. Debate team stairs. You can never go up the stairs. But there are stairs.
Where do you go? Where
Not
do you
there. Talk to Connie.
go? I don't.
Talk to Connie and then leave.
I don't know where to go.
Oh, you're literally lost?
I'm literally
Go to
lost.
the study. No, go to the study dome. Go to the study dome. Turn around. Don't go through there. Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep turning. Go through there.
Ah.
I get that desperation. Also, you can't walk into
What's up, Nancy?
room.
What do you
that's
know
locked
about Hulk
even though you have
Sanchez?
key because Connie's in
He's
here.
a big jock on campus. Never dated him or anything.
Never dated him. Right? That's how I introduce everything. So, who's the president? Joe Biden, but I never dated him or anything.
Hulk told me money's been
Who's
tight
this
for you
guy
these
who-
days.
A dork.
That was the
Hulk
line.
Sanchez doesn't know the first thing about my life. He needs to get a life and stop talking about mine.
What a dork.
Do you know Hal
I
Tanaka?
also get upset about people who mind their own business.
Not very well.
and stuff.
He's an
Like,
exchange
very-
student from Japan and a total workaholic.
Can't stand them.
He told me he's
They
trying to
sit
get a
there reading
scholarship
their
for
books at
college.
me,
Lately, he's looking really burnt out.
Burning
I think the
pages.
pressure is getting to him.
vindictively.
What pressure?
What
Peer
pressure?
pressure.
Hal is maxing out on course hours this year. He needs to prove himself if he's going to get a scholarship. If he doesn't get a scholarship, he'll have to go back to Japan. That would be a total disgrace for his family.
That's how I
A
talk about
total
people
disgrace.
too. I definitely use that. language.
Do you know why
I
Jake
can't
had
tell
a
you how
video
many
camera
people
in
I've
his
said
locker?
Would be a total disgrace to
No.
their family.
Why are you so interested in Jake anyway? I
Just
gotta go now.
constantly.
Later.
It's kind of normal teen speak.
Nancy, I'm starting to wonder about you.
30-year-old woman. Who
Didn't
goes
I
to high
hear you
school
were
dressed
dating
like
Jake?
that?
Hey, a girl can make a mistake,
Black
can't she?
slacks and a button-up
I gotta go
shirt.
now. Later.
He looks
Well,
like
admittedly, no one here sounds like they're teenagers.
No, these are all 30-year-olds hanging out at a high school.
They
And yet
do
we're
not
in
look
this-
nor sound like teenagers.
So you can't go into the teacher's lounge because Connie's here, so you have to murder Connie first. I don't make the rules, I just abide by them.
Bye.
Okay. You can leave now. Go to Maxine's diner. Nothing
We're
matters.
just gonna need CD uno,
Gross. Trace.
cuatro, cinco, seis.
9 is 9. I learned Spanish from a children's game where you played Go Fish and you had to ask for the cards in Spanish. I got a lot of 9s.
I mean, admittedly, you know more than I do.
Hey, what?
It also occurred to me that I
Here.
should say a key.
A-Q-U-I. But it's been a long time since I gave up.
Queen.
Look at the menu! What a menu that is.
Soup. Spoiler.
Sheets.
For one of the coolest things, I'm going to kill ourselves. So we get to see.
Okay. But do the other things first.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
No, I don't like those.
Look at that flat texture.
It looks very real. You're not done. Go back.
Cheese. Oh no, cyclone.
I need something to make this work.
I need something to make this work. Coin?
What I love is that you laughed at her for not knowing what she
I need
needs
something to make this work.
But you were like, I don't know how to make this work.
You pull it!
Oh my gosh, you don't even get to play it.
Yeah, no, it was just making the sounds. And
Oh,
I
you
got
get
it
to
back.
keep it. I love that. That's so useless. What a waste. Can you
Wordy Canan.
look at any of them? Can you?
Nancy
gonna-
Drew. Nancy Drew.
Oh my. Okay, yeah, I get it. They like taking words and making them go backwards. So you feel smart for reading them. Good for good on that too.
I need something to make this work.
I don't know if any of this is important, so.
Long toll money.
Wow. Oh, this is the worst. We're gonna go with this one. See, now the atmosphere is different and it's better. We're gonna start clicking a little faster. Look! Letters. It doesn't matter.
Danger.
Yeah, probably. It was a murder, so. I don't think he accidentally got beaten up and fell down the stairs. Yep. He killed
Naomi
himself,
sure is
shot
AFK.
himself 10 times in the back.
Oh, it reminded me of this SFM that I watched.
1,
There's the-
9, 10, 11. Is that important? Does that feel important to you?
Possibly.
I bet it's not. I'll write it down. 1, 9, 10, and 11.
Why did you
Anyway.
say 9? It's 1, 5, 10, 11.
You know what? You know that I have number dyslexia, so I only know how to say 9. No way.
Hey, look!
Yeah, guitar.
It's a face.
It's a guitar.
That's a meme face if I've ever seen one.
Don't tell the Nancy do so. Actually do so that they can let go of Paw. Paw needs a break. We can make fun of this twerp. I'm going to hold the microphone. It's fun. It's wobbly.
You look like you're going to make an excellent addition to Paseo Del Mar High School student body. I'm Daryl Gray.
It's the line
Renaissance
from
man,
the test.
short order cook, student council president, and professional escort to pretty
He's
new
a
students.
Renaissance man.
Oh, bad. No. Oh.
What? This isn't how you talk to the females?
Oh.
Do you
Also,
really
by
think so?
Renaissance man, he means that's where his attitude
Definitely.
is stuck.
You're amazing. You've got a mysterious quality I find very
Oh.
intriguing.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
See you later.
Bad.
No.
Bye, Nancy.
I'm sorry, you have to talk to the twerp, so
How can I
you're
help my
going to have
number
to
one
flirt,
detective?
Peter. Make him love you.
How well do you know
feel
Hulk
icky.
Sanchez?
Yeah,
Well,
I don't love
I know
this
the guy can scarf down half a dozen burgers at a time. He's the best linebacker ever to play for the Manatees. He also told me he's really psyched to play college ball next year.
Manatees? College football?
Manatees?
Paseo Del Mar's high school football team.
This is the
They're number one
worst.
this year, all because of Hulk.
Do you
He's
know
their
Connie
star.
Watson?
College football?
What can you tell me about
Hulk's dream
how?
is to become a great college football star and then play for the Miami Dolphins. He lives and breathes football.
That was the worst game.
Do you know Connie Watson?
I think we can all
I've
put
seen her
our-
around, but we've never had a class together.
shrugged his shoulders.
I don't
in a
think
way
she's
that
ever
I
been to
just am not a
Maxine's.
fan of.
I'm sorry, what?
Why do you think she's never been to the diner?
I'm not sure. She's
No.
very private about what she does after school.
I really can't explain it. There's something about
What can you tell me about Hal
his
Tanaka?
character model that just
Well, for one
character
thing,
model.
his name isn't really Hal. He uses Hal because his Japanese name is
Look like a
way hard to
character model
pronounce.
to you.
He's
So
an
he doesn't
exchange
look
student
like a
who's all
character.
study,
Is
no
this
play.
tie black?
And he's obsessed with getting a college scholarship. Poor guy.
What's wrong with wanting a college scholarship?
But what's wrong with wanting a college
I feel
scholarship?
sorry for him because
College
he's missing out on all the
scholarships
fun of high
are
school.
for
He
nerds.
needs to seriously chill.
So is reading. Cool kids toss footballs to themselves because no one else will play with them.
Do you
Or
know
they
why
stand
Jake
in the
had a
corner
video
reading
camera in his locker?
Magazines.
Well, Jake was a member of the film club. He was always messing around with video equipment.
You gonna start shrugging again?
Film club?
I've
A
never
former
heard of
student
film
donated some
club.
high-tech video
What is
equipment to the
Flim
club.
Club?
Jake was filming his own
Flim
project.
Club. Nancy.
Any idea
is
what
so
Jake's film project was about?
clueless about the
Okay,
hip.
is this what
Not
every
sure.
playthrough's
I
going
guess
to
he was shooting a
devolve into?
documentary
Us
because
just
I never saw him with a script or any
rambling
actors.
Nonsense.
Looks like Jake had a hold on both Hulk and Connie. What now?
But no, like I don't.
Look for some incriminating evidence, or just wait for one
I
of them to
rate the
squeal.
story 2
My guess is
stars.
Sounded
Hulk's the one who
like,
had the muscle to take on Jake.
Like no
could never
one
have been
is
Connie.
acting like there was just a murder.
I don't know. When there's a murder, I like hitting on
I mean,
people.
actually, no. They're all acting like a murder just happened, and they're the ones who did it.
Was Jake interested in judo?
Oh, I hate this so much. What a
You're
boring
kidding,
thing to
right?
ask me and
The
stuff.
only physical thing Jake did was to think up new ways to get other people to do his work for him.
What do you know about the break-in at the pharmacy?
Well, the police thought it was a prank at first because it didn't look like anything had been taken. Then the pharmacist found one particular drug missing. I think it was a steroid or something.
See you later.
Later, detective.
I should ask, just so that anyone watching the stream can have some context, would you want to replay the second Laura Bow game?
No. I don't. I
Okay.
want as few people to be exposed to that as possible.
Okay,
And I want
I-
my name to be as far removed from that racist, sexist, weird conglomeration of poorly written stereotypes.
I like the game, but in
grisly
a so
murder.
bad it's good sort of
No,
way.
it's so bad it's terrible.
So it's-
I can't. And in answer to your question about will all of our playthroughs devolve like this, I mean probably. But also some of the games are more interesting than this.
Watch
Like
out.
Tennessee Moon Towers. How about we finish up in the kitchen and then call it a day?
Yeah, sounds fine to me.
Okay. Look at the schedule.
Maxine's birthday. Vatican Day? What does that say?
I can't read it, it's too low quality. Oh, there are lots of numbers at the bottom, but I'm not going to. No. I love that the turnaround symbol just means back up, or sometimes go forward.
Back up or enter. Is
No.
this like
There's probably a hidden message, but like none of the hidden messages matter, so. I think I was a kid when I last played this, and so it was a little bit more exciting. There are other games where it's more interesting, like, most of them. But like, there are things to discuss, but in this one, you know, I'll be like, hey, Peter, who do you think did it?
I'm currently thinking the jock.
Why?
Because I think it might be the jock.
See, because that's the thing, we don't provide any clues, like anything really to talk about. Yeah, I know what you're about to do. Look!
So you see this? Flammable gas? But we need the bolt cutters.
It's hissing, so that's probably fine.
Yeah, probably fine.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you can leave. So, a thing you have to understand about Peter is that he gets unreasonably excited when you can die in a game. And you can't continue. Second chance.
Why am I here?
Okay, so what you're actually supposed to do is fix the deadly gas leak with a ladle. See, and now it's fine. Deadly
And the
gas
scary
leaks.
music has stopped as well.
Yeah.
And I love this. And also, you never tell anyone about this.
No, you're not like, hey, there's like a deadly gas leak that was somehow miraculously being held together by pliers.
By a bolt cutter.
Bolt cutters. There's the word. Anyway, I think that's good for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, currently the consensus is that the clock did it because.
Well, it's sort of a two-toned thing.
He seems like a murderer.
He seems like the likely culprit. He's at the very least the person who stole the drugs.
You don't think Hal did?
Steroids don't help you with academic pursuits. Unless, like, you have ADD or something. Like one of those mental illnesses where... Is that steroids?
I don't think that's steroids. I think that's speed. But I don't know a lot about
No,
drugs.
I don't think... Neither of us know a whole lot about
We
drugs.
could learn more about drugs.
What do you know about drugs?
Oh, gracious.
Like, no, the Dagger of Amun-Ra is an indefensible, terrible
game.
game from, like, almost every single angle. But one, I love the murder scenes. And two, the fact that nothing about it is good makes it so fun to make fun of. What do you know about notebooks?
Oh, it's so embarrassingly bad. Your phone is there.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now leave. We never addressed the huge winter coat.
You shan't.
Okay, Debbie. You see where it says "Go Dead" on that thing?
No.
Oh. Well. Oh, it's the lower right. No, the
Volume?
thing. No, down. The thing. Go Dead. Yes. Goodbye. Oh, you didn't press it?